so I'm afraid to say anything. No, I just truly understand that I believe that Beyonce is authentically presenting love in the way that she is presenting her art and the art that she's choosing at this time. You know, again, this kind of harkens me back to the beginning of the show where I said, you know, we have to be careful what we ask for. We want celebrities to pick up the bloodstained banner and to use their voices to help open up windows where doors are closed. So Beyonce has been seemingly doing that, but now she's being drilled for not doing it in the way that one particular person deems correct. And that's the balance that is oftentimes faced when we talk about celebrities and having them dip in and out of socio-political culture. I believe that there's definitely work to be done in terms of how we see Africa as a country and how we see the nations within Africa. You know, these are cosmopolitan places that have high rises, and they are, you know, some of the wealthiest places on earth. So no, they're not getting up and hunting for tigers and, you know, like piercing their nose and walking around butt naked. Yes, there are tribes that still exist in Africa, and there's still kind of historic heritage culture that exists in the nation and in the country of Africa. But I do believe that there is also this kind of cosmopolitan view of what Africa actually is right now. And I believe that some people are doing really well with showing that part. You know, I know that there was a huge trip. Even Mama Tina went, if I'm not mistaken, to, I don't remember if it was Nigeria or where it was, but there was a bunch of Black celebrities earlier on this year that went over and just had themselves a grand old time. So I understand that we are sensitive, and we're going through a sensitive time right now, and we want to dictate the rules as to how the culture is being dictated and how it's being depicted. But I think that we have to make room for understanding. Now, I don't know if Beyonce, you know, this young lady saying that Beyonce, number one, Lion King is not even available in Africa. That strikes me as weird. And number two, Beyonce's never been to perform in Africa. I don't believe that to be true. She has to have. Beyonce has been performing for 40 years. She has to have been to Africa. I refuse to believe it. Did I tell you about this dream that I had? So, you know, there's nothing like the pandemic. And I'm not going to blame the pandemic. I'm not going to blame the pandemic for getting back with my ex. I'm not. Although I will say that, you know, one of the things that I acknowledge about my ex and about every time that we have been together is he always shows up at a time. First of all, I always manifest him. That much I know. I manifest him. He doesn't just show up out of anywhere. My deep conscious thinking about him is what causes him oftentimes to show up and be a particular, play a particular role or take a particular interest in my life at that time. And so, you know, I definitely want to use the setting of the table today to just kind of dispel some of the misnomers that I've realized about getting with my ex that I just wanted to share with you guys. So, yeah, and yes, we are going to talk about August Alsina, okay? Listen, I'm not spending a lot of time on this. So you like to hear it? Here we go. Okay, so most of you have not been under a rock, right? So you've seen the August Alsina interview with Angela Yee. Now, first of all, let me say this. I think it is very purposeful whom he chose to do an interview with. No shade. I don't know of Angela Yee to be this kind of hard-hitting interviewer. So if you watch the entirety of the interview, I could definitely see where she was leading the witness, so to speak. And this was obviously something where the questions were preempted, like he was given the questions, I'm sure, before the interview took place. So, I think that here's a couple of things. I think that August is, I think that he knew exactly what he was doing by answering particular questions in particular ways. He never once went against the NDNA by saying that he actually had sex with Jada. All right, that's number one. Number two, I don't know whose fucking business this is. I don't know. I know it's not ours. We didn't ask for this shit. I know that, him kind of being messy in the way that he was being elusive about answering certain questions, definitely led to the grist for the mill, so to speak, where people are like, oh, well, what you trying to say? You trying to say that you was fucking Jada? Like, what's up? Like, y'all was in a threesome? Y'all had Jada and Will had an open marriage? Blah, 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 blah. First of all, the sanctity of any marriage is between the husband and the wife. Now, the decisions that they make in the here and after still belongs to them. You're entitled to your opinion, but if Jada and Will decided at some point in time that monotony was not a prerequisite for their covenant, then that is on them. August never actually said that he had a sexual relationship with Jada, but he did allude to it. And he did so because he knew that it would garner this kind of attention. And again, this brings me back full circle to even Terry Crews. There are some people who just serve as a distraction. And while all of these things are socio-politically going on in our environment, to have someone like August Alsina or Terry Crews or even Meek Mill come out and give us information or come out and say shit that we didn't ask for that seems counterintuitive to the shit that we need to be focusing on right now is upsetting to me and my homegirls. I don't give a fuck, honestly, if August was fucking Baba Black Sheeps or if he was fucking Will and Jada. It's none of my business. But the fact that y'all are, and I don't want to beat up on people because the fact of the matter is, we thrive in this culture on the salacious nature of other people's business. We thrive on it. We love it so much. It is the fuel that keeps many of us in this kind of voyeuristic state where we are glued to our telephones. But, by igniting this drama, whilst he is also dropping a product, makes me feel like you had ulterior motives. Now, my personal opinion, I don't know what happened in the closed doors in the castle of Scientology with Will and Jada and August. I do recall, August at that time seemed to have been going through a lot of, if I recall correctly, he was going through some tumultuous times with his family. And I can remember Jada really kind of being there for him and being this, his whiz, you know what I mean? Like dropping some knowledge on him, as Jada would do. Jada strikes me as this girl who has always been kind of sage, full of wisdom. And I could see how you could be, romantically inclined to fall into that. You know, I am one of those people that if I meet someone who is wise and smart and just an intellect and just kind of is conscious, I'm all over it. I'm all over it. I'm with you. I want to get with you. I want to kiss you with tongue, all that shit. Okay. But you chose to enter a private relationship with this person. And you talked about how, the truth is the truth and transparency makes us uncomfortable. And I can't apologize for that. The truth is my truth. It's mine to own. There's no right or wrong here. It simply just is. You're being messy. And for all of you who seem to have some opinion about the fact that Jada, whether or not she engaged in a physical relationship, to me, it is more damning that a spiritual, mental relationship took place in the state of this marriage. Now, that would just be for me. You know, I'm not talking about Will and Jada. I'm just talking about me. If I were to get married, it would be more damning to me that my spouse went and cleaved mentally and spiritually onto someone else. That would hurt me. You know, I know that physicality just makes you an adulterer, but spiritual and mental connection makes to me breaks the covenant. Because we're supposed to cleave to each other. You know, you shouldn't have to go and cleave. Now, I'm not saying that, and it is of my opinion, that I don't think that you can, marry someone in your 20s or 30s or whenever, depending on who you are, and never be attracted to anyone ever again. I think that that's crazy. I think it's a crazy idea. I think you're going to see people. Your body still works. Your eyes still, you got eyes, don't you? So, for those of you who's like, oh, as a black woman, Jada shouldn't be out here messing around like that. Like what? Like what? It is her marriage to do with what she please. And that is the freedom of consciousness and mindfulness and awareness. You have the ability to choose how you feel, regardless of anybody's opinion. Now, I don't know what happens behind the sandcastles of Scientology out there with Will and Jada. And, everyone has the right to their opinion. I just don't like the way that August seemingly came off and alluded to the fact that he had a inappropriate relationship, or what many are deeming as an inappropriate relationship, with this married woman. And he was given permission by her husband to do so. Now, Jada and Will are, through their publicists, are saying that they vehemently deny that there was permission to be given, or that there was some sort of physical relationship that occurred between her and August Alsina. Now, she is not denying that there was a relationship, and I don't think that she can at this point. I mean, we seen the footage, girl. So we know that there was a relationship. I saw the video of Jada rubbing August Alsina on his chest. I don't know. My opinion, if you want to know, I do believe that there probably was some physical something there. But I think that the strength of the relationship is predicated on the spiritual and the mental, and I don't think that many of us understand how powerful that is. And I think that many of us have a very skewed idea of what a relationship is, especially when it comes to marriage, especially when it comes to the covenant and the religiosity of marriage. And furthermore, when it comes to the business aspect of marriage, because marriage is a business. You sign legal paperwork to be recognized by the government and by the state, because it's a business. You pay for that marriage license. You get benefits from, tax benefits, and there are things that you benefit from being married. So for all I know, Will and Jada probably got in it for the love or for the business, and it's not for us to know. Have the right to your opinion, but I just think the whole thing is messy, and I really just kind of wish that August would have kept this to himself, especially at this time. I feel like at this time, if you're not with us, you against us, and that goes for how we are choosing to use our voice and what information that we are currently putting out there in the ethos. You know what I mean? I think that we have to be very cognizant about the fact that right now is a